All right. All right, so hang on. Now this is blocking. Facebook is telling me that, because I did such a good job. It's all right. There we go. Sorry, it was popping up and blocking me. Oh, Kelly, are you in on? Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Island of Misfit Toys. It is Thursday evening, Pacific time, 5:30, and we are back. It has been another great week that we are going to share with one another, and look very much forward to hearing from you guys in the comment. Welcome to our LinkedIn family. Anyone who's new, so glad you found us. I was just saying at the beginning of the show that, hey, human error. I scheduled the show for the wrong time. You want to talk about how live goes? And so we lost the broadcast on Facebook, and it wasn't letting me go live until I acknowledged my error. So we're all good now. We're ready to go. And tonight we will have Felicia be joining us in just a bit, but we have someone who hasn't been on the island before. I don't know if you guys know James Minarsich, and he's been around. He's been in the comments. This is the new guy here. Let's give him a warm welcome, and he's going to join our conversation tonight. So thank you, James, for coming to the island. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for the invite.
Of course. All right, so I guess you guys want me to introduce our topic, or somebody else want to jump in?
Go for it.
Okay, so for tonight, we've decided that we would like to have a conversation about empathy. So empathy and sympathy go hand in hand. We've been talking sort of just leading up to going live here about what empathy means to us, sympathy, where we find it, how we create it, is it innate? What other places does empathy then impact? What other things can coexist with empathy and what can't? So that's a very broad generalization of empathy. And one of the things that brought me to this is actually I was watching Russ John's show this morning. And I had seen them talk a bit about empathy. And one of my thoughts, hey Felicia, welcome in.
Hello, hi everyone.
Hello. One of my thoughts watching them was how, like, if you are living with empathy, if you're truly empathizing with people, that it can't coexist with judgment. So that was the first thought, and I'm going to put that out there to everyone, that empathy, true empathy, cannot coexist with judgment. And certainly we could use a lot less judgment and a whole lot more empathy. So go.
Go.
Well, I do want to start with defining or not defining, but talking about sympathy versus empathy. Oh, guys, I don't want to make all this.
I think you start at its most basic, defining sympathy. Sympathy is in contrast to empathy, in contrast to sympathy, right? So if we're talking about empathy, you can't talk about empathy without talking about sympathy.
And Kelly, just so you know, you're cutting in and out a little bit on your audio. Doing my best to stick with you here.
Go ahead. I'm going to see if I can fix it.
Okay. So empathy. Jaris, do you want to?
Yes, I'll tackle it. I was thinking about the definition, and one of the definitions, don't quote me because I didn't get what dictionary it came from, but it was saying it was the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person, right? So I do that a lot. To me, that means understanding where another person is coming from. That's understanding their perspective. I have my own unique perspective, and everybody else have their own unique perspective. I guess where sympathy would come in is being able to have concern. And I think in my personal life, that's where I have to play it close, because I empathize with a lot of people, but I don't think I have to sympathize with a lot of people, especially when I know that they are conscious of the choices that they are making. So I can understand why you're acting a certain way, but I don't have to put my energy into trying to make it better for you or trying to go out of my way to help somebody that's not trying to help themselves. And I think that's exactly where I'm at this moment, if that makes sense in my life.
No, it does. And I think you actually bring up a really important point. And this is something that, as an empath, I struggle with is, right, I feel everything and I empathize with everything. Classic Nancy story. When I was married, at the house there was a huge daisy bush in the front, and I didn't like the way it looked. The aesthetic wasn't what I wanted, but I was unwilling to rip it up because it was a living thing, and to just rip it up and kill it because I didn't like it. I have an overdeveloped sense of empathy, and I have to then be a little bit more careful to, you're going to do your audio from one, or you're going to, and how do you want to do it, Kel? Oh, you can't talk at all because there. Sign language. Hey, you know what? Private chat. Do you need me to unmute you? You muted yourself. Hey, charades. Anyone in the comments know what Kelly's trying to tell us? You want to do it from your phone? You want me to kick you out from here and let you in on your phone? All right. Look at that. Ding, 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 ding. Okay. Kick you out. Let's do it.
Sign language lesson. Here it is. I used to be a sign language interpreter.
Hey,
Yeah.
don't forget I'm a communication specialist, speech language pathologist over here. But I have an overdeveloped sense of empathy. And so I really have to check my empathy, right? I have to make sure that I'm giving my empathy to the right people and for the right reasons. And that took a while for me to accept and not feel like I was being a bad person, that I wasn't equally empathetic to everyone, right? But yeah, I can have, and here's where sympathy and empathy are. I can have sympathy and empathy, right? But if you're making a conscious choice, it doesn't mean that I have to let it negatively impact me because I have empathy or sympathy for you, right? And that to me is a hard line, but I've learned over the years, right, where that line is, because otherwise, I mean, I could not get out of bed in the morning because I'd be feeling everybody's everything and not always for the right reasons.
Yeah, understood. And I understand what you're saying, because that was one of my biggest problems. Too busy understanding why people acted the way they act and going out of my way trying to correct something. Mm-hmm. And I had to realize that it's not my job to correct anything but myself, my children as well. But I don't have to correct an adult unless they come to me with their issues asking for my help. If you don't ask for my help, and you're not doing anything that I don't feel like is going against your morals or you're going to hurt somebody, then I feel my perspective is, as an adult, you know what you're doing. Even if I don't understand, you might have a unconscious way of making the decisions that you make. So I understand what you're saying, Nancy, but I want to ask you this question. How did you break that habit of feeling like, that weight of trying to feel and understand what everybody else is feeling?
The first thing I had to do was stop judging myself. I had to stop thinking I was a bad person if I, quote unquote, withdrew my empathy from someone. And it wasn't so much that as I can see where you're at, I can empathize, but I can only go so far down that path with you because you're making a choice, right? That's your choice, yours to experience, not mine to experience. Another piece of it was for me, after, giving myself permission and seeing that happen, is that for me, it's always important for me to turn it back on myself. And like, what would I say to my best friend? Like, can you continue to give empathy to the point where you're drained and you have nothing for yourself or for the people in your life who are in a position that they really would benefit from that type of support from you? And you have to have a well to draw from. So that helps me bring back is that, no, I'm not being a bad person. I will meet people where they're at. And there are certain people that aren't in a place to meet you. Those are the people that I can reach for as opposed to sort of feeling like I have a rock around my ankle when I'm trying to give empathy to someone who's just, it's a feeling too. I wish I could tell you there's a feeling of like when someone isn't being completely honest with me, right? Or what they're telling me is what they want me to hear, their perceived truth, their, something's going on that's incongruent with me, and I feel it that way. It's like, something's here. Like I have sympathy, I have empathy, I can put myself there, I can see where that would be difficult, but you're not being completely honest with me yourself. Something is off, and I'm being pulled into I hate to say it, but it's like a trap. And it starts to feel like that, like, oh my gosh, okay, now I've gone so far down this path, this person has done such a good job here that if I start to withdraw myself, there's potentially consequences. So before I get there, I'm really trying to check my gut and make sure, am I attending to myself? Am I able to give? If someone really needed me right now and I had to reach toward them, I had to put in more than they could in the moment, do I have that to give? And if I don't, then I'm leaking energy somewhere. Does that help? Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. It's a feeling. And I know you're in touch with your gut. So you know it. Before I absolutely make Felicia and James share some thoughts, because we want you to be part of this conversation, I'm going to go back through the comments and say hello to a lot of our friends who showed up. We've got Dorothy here again tonight. Thank you, Dorothy. Dorothy is on fire. I know I saw you have another show that you're going to be a guest on coming up. Go ahead, put that in the comments so we can all energize and amplify that for you and show up for you. Senor Payasada, hey, let's see. This is cool. I just left Michael P to go. Yeah, well, Michael P, we're not sure he'll make the appearance here. We're hoping he'll have the energy to come join us on the island. But we appreciate you jumping from there to here to be with us for sure. And let's see. Thank you, Tim. We love having you on the island. And Jaris is doing his thing, making sure everybody feels welcome, knows they're here, and we appreciate you because we certainly do. Yep. And I know I do my best, but I'm not so great. I need one of you to talk for a really long time so I can catch up on comments. We've got hellos, and hey, Sarathi is with us from India at 6 a.m. Wow. Kelly, Jaris, everyone, hey, we've got a 6 a.m. At 6 a.m. I don't know about the rest of you guys on the island, but 6 a.m. Yeah, that to me is a biggie. That's a show up big time. Jaris, thank you for calling out some of the people that you think would benefit from this conversation. We always want to make sure that we're reaching people who would benefit from our thoughts, from the thoughts coming in from the comments. That's our goal of being here. Empathy, great topic. Well, I hope it's resonating with you and you're getting out of it, Tim. Let's see, who else do I have here? There's so much great chat that I will put that up, you guys, I promise, as we're talking, but I just want to make sure that I've said hello to everyone. Brian Schulman in the house. There you go. Brian Schulman's here. Thanks, Brian, for being here. And he says, hi, Cap. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Felicia. Hi, James. We'll get those up.
It's so hard to keep up. I know.
It is. I really appreciate those of you in the comments and those of you here on the island allowing me the minute of running through them all. Just so we have a chance to say at least hello. Devin, welcome to the show. When will this happen again? Oh, Devin, fantastic. We're here every Thursday night at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. I don't math, so if you're on the island and you're in a different time zone, feel free to tell what that time would be in your time zone. But we already saw tonight that I scheduled the show for the wrong time, so I'm doing no more math this evening. But you can find us here every Thursday night at 5:30 Pacific, and we're really glad that you found us.
7:30 Central.
There you go. Anyone else brave enough?
I just said I let him know. Devin's a good friend of mine, so I let him know.
Okay, there you go. Well, and Robert, hi to you. We really love having you all here. Okay. I'll continue putting comments up, and I will get to you guys in comments like these guys are doing. It's a team effort. We love you. We so appreciate you being here and choosing to spend your time with us. I think all of us know how precious time is. And the fact that you choose to spend some of yours with us is very much appreciated. All right. Now I've given James and Felicia plenty of time to think about what they might want to add. I mean, of course you can pass, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Everybody would.
James was on the line before me.
Oh man,
of course. I don't know him.
That's perfect. Island, James.
No, that's great. I love the conversation. I mean, isn't it ironic? Empathy is so important, and it takes time to listen, right? And so we get into this rushed world, and then just pointing back to what Nancy's saying, out the other side of that, we also have to manage that time where we feel we're most instrumental in those people that we're pouring that empathy into, because that's where we'll get pulled in too many directions, and we have to be careful because we also have to have that self-care. So for me, it's kind of I love the topic, but again, slowing down and being able to truly listen drives that empathy, because you have to level. It's not just standing in someone's shoes, it's standing shoulder to shoulder with them. And then out the other side, when we start talking about things again that Nancy pointed out about, well, what patterns come out the other side of those conversations? And I've had those situations with friends that I can be I have a lot of sympathy about where they're at in life and that they want to make improvements, but the patterns will drive how much time I can spend on the empathy side. And that's
patterns. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's interesting how often, if we stand back, that those patterns will become more and more obvious to us, especially as we're working with people that, with friends and family and clients. We know these people more and more. It's how we know that we're serving them with empathy. But at the same time, we also have to make sure that we're being true to ourselves and we're not being pulled along. And I wouldn't want to say for a ride, but at some point, if those patterns come again and again and again, we have to decide how far we can go, because it has to start with the people that are also, in my opinion, it's that heart change drive for where they want to go. And then we start seeing those benchmarks. And that to me has always been, I mean, I know that about myself, that I have to want it first. And that's where empathy will drive me. You find those people that stand with you and understand that and support you. And to me, that's the place I try to get to. But managing that is back to the gut check and back to pattern. So that's how I approach. I mean, that's always been, if I was going to give a summary, that's how I've always viewed it.
I love that.
As I've gotten older, I must say.
Listening and patterns. All right. I wrote both those down because I think they're important. We should spend some more time. Felicia.
Yeah. Key difference between the two for me is empathy goes into, I've been in that situation. I've had experience similar to whatever it is that you may be experiencing. Sympathy is just a feeling of, relating to you, but I've never been in that situation. Hence, that's why there are people that have the issue when people say, I don't need your sympathy. Because it comes off, as sometimes is that you really don't understand my situation. So don't sit up here and act like you do, right? Whereas what they really want to come from is that I want somebody to empathize with me. I want somebody to be able to speak into my life or talk to me that's been there. I want you to tell me if you had a frustrating day with your kids and you're mad at your husband and you want to cuss your boss out and you want to do all these different things. Until you can be in that position, same with me, then that's not empathizing with me. You just sympathizing with me. So that's the thing. Speak into my life, tell me, guide me if you've been there. But if you have not, then that's a different type of conversation. So that's how I defer the difference between those two.
Yeah.
Love it.
Again, it's the Brene Brown thing again, right? Her story about empathy versus sympathy. It's that it's the perfect visual for that, for what you're saying. I'm in the hole. What sympathy is, I'm walking by the hole. I look down and I say, "Hey, that sucks. You're in a hole."
Yeah.
I recognize that you're in a hole, right? That's sympathy. Like, oh yeah, I acknowledge that you feel this way or whatever it is.
Right.
Empathy is jumping down in the hole with them.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel this. This is hard. What are we going to do about it?
Right.
Yeah. And if you guys don't know about Brene Brown, just a great human, great perspective, tons of wisdom. That one, which does that come from? That comes from.
Is it Dare to Lead or Braving the Wilderness? I don't know.
Yeah, I read.
I can't keep her straight.
So we can check out
Lead.
What is it? Lead?
Dare to Lead.
Dare to Lead. Okay. So check out Brene Brown for sure. And that is a perfect example. We all laughed because you know what? Now, like we all perfectly understood sympathy versus empathy as you gave that example. It's true. Oh, you're in a hole. See you tomorrow when I walk back this way again. Tim, you asked, how do I choose the right people to be empathetic with? I don't always choose the right people to be empathetic with. I'm human. I think James came to this in talking about patterns. When I start to see those patterns, being aware of them, that's information for me to just be curious and not judge, so that I'm gathering information and I'm not taking on someone else's perception or bringing my own judgment to it. And quite honestly, I feel it. There's some people who receive it in a certain way and your energy starts to flow together, and you can feel that happening where it's a reciprocal, symbiotic kind of relationship. And that's something, but in the end, I rather give a little bit too much empathy to someone who maybe, I don't want to say they're not worth it because it's not true. It's who's not in a place to benefit from it the way it's intended. I'd rather give that person a little bit more than miss someone who would really benefit from it. So I think it's how do I choose? I'm willing to choose, quote unquote, the wrong person. That's how I choose, I guess. So again, it's my gut. There's a flow. You start to feel it. There's a give and take. Anybody else have on how they choose, like how they know who, like the true empathy versus pseudo empathy kind of place?
Yeah, you hit it spot on, Nancy. And I want to go back to what James was saying and what you were saying. For me, it's starting with understanding myself first, because that's how I get in tune. That's how I understand what's going on. Because once I know myself, I can trust my gut because I know me. I got to understand my emotions, my selfishness, because a lot of times, being honest with myself, I was feeling a certain way for certain people based on my own selfish intentions. So it wasn't as if I had their best interests in mind. It was how would I benefit from that situation. So like James was saying, for me, everything I'm learning now is starting with self. Once I learn how to break down my emotions, my core values, really digging down deep, talking to the little jaris and figuring out, okay, what the traumas I had, understanding, okay, how to separate all of that. Once I know my own perspective, my own core values, my own beliefs, and this takes time to get there, right? You're going to naturally understand other people's perspective. Now I'm letting things flow. So I know it's like a second sense for me. It's almost second nature when I'm talking to somebody like you said, Nancy. I can feel it very quickly. Now, if I'm wrong, that's okay, because I know my intentions are right now. So if I am wrong about somebody and I pick the wrong person, I can live with that. But the main thing for me is I have to understand, Jaris, what is your perspective? Who are you? Going deeper than just my name. What do you want to do? What you don't want to do? What do you like? What you don't want to like? now that I'm understanding that the right people are floating right in my life, and the people who aren't right for me at this particular time, they're leaving so quick that I'm almost like, dang, I almost miss these people. But this is why I feel like my energy is becoming so strong now, is either you're going to run away from it until you're ready, or you're going to match the energy and we can go elevate together.
Such a good point. Sometimes our energy is too much for people. Sometimes our energy is too much for people, and they're not used to being in this kind of energy.
Yeah.
Anyone want to talk about that a little bit? Or did I just inherit that by saying it?
No, you're right. I mean, I just look at my journey once again. I cannot expect the people that I was dealing with to understand, because I'm still understanding. I just trust myself and know that what I'm doing is right, because I've been had these feelings all along. It's just something that I've been running from. So I expect the people that's showing their behind on me now, running, hiding, whatever they're doing, I expect that from them, because this is something new. This is not, we don't know this, Jaris. We used to the other guy, it's almost like we want that person back, but I could never go back to that person, because change is what it's about.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to bring it to you, James, if you don't mind, because you started talking about this in business. And Ashok, thank you for being here. Ashok. I have to think about it before I say it. Empathy is otherness. Sympathy is sameness. They can coexist. And Ashok was who I was listening to, him and Russ this morning, who sort of put me in this place of examining empathy. So thank you, Ashok, for lighting that idea in me. But James, I want to come back to you about business, right? We're talking a lot here about like interpersonal relationship, and it sounds like mostly for us on the personal side of things, right? But you brought up a very good point. What about empathy in business?
Well, it's interesting, because we always talk about the separation of business and personal, but we often forget that we're human to human, right? We're still dealing with people. So I think a lot of times what I have found through my career is that if I don't put myself in the shoes of the person at the other side of the table and truly listen, I can't have any empathy for where they're coming from, their situation, and such as in life with personal things as well. We have to listen. To me, it really boils down to that, and that's proved very instrumental in business. But I view that as a human nature conversation. Because again, in business, we're dealing with another person. At least I am. We're always dealing with a coworker. It can be anyone. And so I think that, again, if we don't take time to slow down and truly listen and engaging in that empathy, and where's it going to go from there? So we can have the sympathy conversation, the empathy conversation, but if those go to one level, what's the next step? How do we engage? Because I think all too often some people might be looking for more but afraid to ask, or maybe I want that. I want to pursue. Is it okay if I follow up? Something that really engages, because a connection is made. And a lot of it for me is that intuitive thing on the empathy side. And when a connection is made, I have clients that are very clear that they're just transactional. And so, okay, that's okay. They don't want to have those types of conversations, but more often than not, because life goes on, even in business during the day, things happen. I've had clients where they've lost their spouses in traffic, in traffic accidents. They've had divorces. They've had everything happen. And if you take the time to truly spend time and listen to their situation, it can really create an incredible friendship and business bond. So that's a lot of times, and I know I've just been fortunate to work with a group that allows me to do that, because a lot of times it's always about crunch numbers. What are you doing? Working with these people on a mindset conversation. No, this is connecting. I'm working with a human being here, and that's what I've always enjoyed about the opportunity, because that's what these are. These are opportunities, and opportunities for me to grow. I think all too often we forget that these conversations work two ways, because the person we're talking to also is we're learning from them, which is incredible. So it's that when I think of the business conversation, that's where my mind goes to, those points. So,
amazing. And I think that COVID has brought that point. Like, I think it's forced empathy into the conversation in a lot of places, because we are real. I mean, I don't know how you get more real than a cat walking and putting its tail under your nose, or having to mute when someone walks in the room, or being able to, just be a part of someone's life in their living room, wherever they're coming to you from in their home. And I like the point of, okay, so what happens after, right? What's next? What's the next step? And one of the things you mentioned, and I do this, I'll ask people, is it okay if I check in again with you tomorrow?
Yeah.
Right? Is it okay if I do that? Because I don't want anyone to feel like, oh, I'm pitying you. Like Felicia said, like, oh, I feel bad for you. But like, would it feel good to you if I checked in again tomorrow? It's a question I ask a lot of the time. So I guess the question that comes to mind for me now is, so what does empathy look like? That's a couple of ways, right? That's a couple of ways empathy shows up. What are other ways that we find ourselves showing empathy? And I want, Raphael is sharing some of his, we can amplify this. I put Dorothy's up earlier. I'll try and get back to it. You've got something going on. We appreciate you sharing it with our community. If they're interested in the comments, go ahead and scroll back. And Dorothy, again, I saw yours. I'll try and get back to it. Just drop it again, and I will put it back up there. Let's see. Yes, shout out to our living rooms. Yes, mine is always a little bit dirty these days. And guess what? That's just what it is. Okay, so maybe speaking from like what are the ways that we show empathy? Maybe flip it around. Like, what are some of the ways that you receive empathy best, or best receive empathy? If I'm trying to speak in English as I show up as my teacher self tonight.
For me, it's being vulnerable, trusting myself, putting myself out there, because I know that's not easy for me. So it's clear that that's what I'm doing. Then I allow other people to make their decisions and create their perspective based on my actions. So I leave the door open, because then, okay, Jaris is putting himself out there. Now, they may be busy. They don't understand what empathy may be, or maybe struggling or dealing with their own thing. But at least I put it out there, and I let you know where I stand. So now it's up to you to put it out there and let me know where you stand, if that makes sense to y'all.
It does. I think one of the things that sometimes gets in the way for me is that piece of taking it personally when someone isn't in a place to flow empathy to me in a way that I'm either expecting, needing, or wanting. And so I have to take my ego out of it, right? It's not about me, because I know from the other end, there's times I can't show up because of where I'm at, right? If I'm in that place. So I know that I endeavor to get clearer and clearer on what receiving empathy for me, right? What I best respond to and what feels good to me. I do know that I'm very much a, like, when people notice changes in my patterns and they check in. It's one of the ways James and I met was he just was checking in to make sure I was okay. It's the first like real face-to-face conversation he and I had. Is he's like, hey, watching you, you're doing a lot. He'd probably heard me talk about how I was tired and running around and crazy, and he just checked in to make sure that I was okay. And that felt amazing. There was empathy there in the sense that, like, he felt it from me. He's been there before. So the reaching out, and I said that earlier, it's like the reaching out. When you reach out to someone, for me, when someone reaches out to me, that's a huge source of empathy, because I know if you're reaching out to me, you know that I'm feeling off. You've sensed that for me, right? And you can say in your head, well, when I feel this way, this feels good to me. And there's the empathy. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm dancing in circles and chasing my tail, but
yeah, that makes sense.
and before we move on, I know there's some new people here, and I'm not probably going to be able to catch all of your comments, and I apologize. And Bill, I'm so sorry. I missed your comment before. You've been here with us, and eep, I missed it. But we've got Robert Berry has shown up with us. Thank you, Robert. And Rafael, thank you for being here and adding your thoughts. Everybody appreciating the engagement in the comments, you guys. Really appreciating it. It's so great to hear from you and have you be part of our conversation. It's one of the beauties of live, right? Is that we're talking up here, but we're talking with you and you are talking with us through the comments. So thank you. If you're new and you're afraid to comment, please don't be. Please don't be. It's you're part of our community, you're part of our island family, and we hope that you're here and feel comfortable and want to engage, and we want to hear from you. So please don't shy away from comments. Maria Rouse I saw, and I saw Katie J. Anyone that I missed, I will keep track and be back again saying hello. But for now, Felicia, James, or Kelly, a way that you receive
what was that, Nancy?
Right, exactly. How is there a way that you know you best receive empathy, where you can like really truly access it, take it in?
How do I do empathy? I think I was saying, I was on mute earlier when I was saying it really depends on the person and the situation, honestly, because I'm reading at the time of, is it really genuine? Because here's one of the things for me, a lot of times I didn't really share my emotions. So a lot of people aren't really close with me. My circle is small in that sense. So because they don't know a lot, I don't expect a lot of people would be able to empathize because they really don't know. And because I know that you don't know, it's like, is it really genuine? But once you're in, you know, I'm loyal. I'm good. I'll tell you what you need to know until you get the. For those out there, I'm an INFJ, so you might know about the door slam.
And I love that you point out that it may be situation or person dependent, right? I know there's certain people in my life who show up for me in different ways than other people.
Because sympathy and empathy is going to come a lot different from my man than it's going to come from a colleague at work. Like, and there's going to be certain expectations that I have on him because I'm like, you know what's going on, what I'm dealing with, the history, the stories and all that, and that's going to be a different type of empathy that I would expect from him versus someone else that I just might just have a working relationship with. So yes, you got to keep that in perspective. Like, who is the person? You know them.
You brought a thought up for me, and I'm curious what everybody else thinks. I'm big on authenticity. I know that everyone here is big on authenticity, and that word, being real, showing up is what I like to say. Just showing up. It doesn't matter where you are, what's going on, show up. And the balance between showing up authentically, but not having to tell everybody everything about you, everything in your life, every feeling you have, every thought you're formulating. And I think that for me, like, it was hard for me because I'm like, oh, I want to be authentic, I want to be real, but my thoughts, my feelings, my experiences are mine to share if and when I'm ready. It doesn't mean that I'm not authentic, right? I can still be very authentic in this moment, and there'll be things you don't know about me. I'm sending.
Cosign.
Yeah. So I'm just curious because I know that like people will say you're authentic. Well, you don't say everything. No, I don't. But it doesn't mean I'm not authentic.
Okay. Well, that would go back to the relationship. Let's go to the spouse and husband, right? I learned early in our relationship, you're like, oh, we're supposed to be best friends. I can tell you everything, right? But then when I realized there are certain things that I don't tell my husband, but not because I'm not being authentic. It's just he has a different mindset, different way he's going to look at it. Because as a male and as my husband, he's like, I want to kill it. What's the problem? What's affecting you? Like, I want to do something about it. Versus if I talk to my girlfriend or something, like venting and being really sharing, like, girl, yeah, he pissed me off. He did this. Like, it's still authentic being the same thing, but you just make your choices about what you say and to whom, because of how they're going to be able to handle it and receive it. So I'm with you. Like, you can be authentic, but people see different parts of you, and that's okay.
The funny thing is you bring up like relationship with husband. With my ex-husband, it's like, oh, no. You don't want me to bitch to you about everything that I'm thinking when it comes to you, right? That's what my girlfriends are for and happy hour are for. You don't want to hear every thought I have.
No, they don't. But society will tell you, like, we're supposed to tell them everything. We're supposed to be bitch friends. You're supposed to say, no. Mm-mm.
Not exactly. Yeah.
Not really.
Everything. There's productivity. KJ, James Minarsich is with us tonight as our guest. I am going to do my best. If somebody else can do it, because this is
done already, Nancy.
You did it already. Okay.
Yes,
all right.
Kenny and I chat. I screwed up on my intro tonight. I zoomed in too quick, so I saw James boom and I was in. So
oh, hang on. There's a way.
He got him.
Okay.
He already. We got you straight, Jay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And feel free, like, drop your LinkedIn link in there if you guys are not.
I've been staring at that, going, why'd I put James?
Just James. Everybody's like James Bond. That's all, James.
Yeah.
That's all. But yes, again, I like to remind everybody, if you are not connected with one another, either with us here on the island, or those of you in the comments, get connected. This is a phenomenal community, you guys. This is just a beautiful place of non-judgment. This is a beautiful place of growth. This is a beautiful place of acceptance. So please reach out to one another, and yeah, reach out to James. I'm going to try and lift your LinkedIn. I'm going to try and work my magic and not screw it up. And let's see, we are at 42 minutes. So one more thing before we move into empathy is what I realize I want to do is I want to, actually, we'll do it at the end. It's usually what I ask you guys at the end is what do you want me, what are we amplifying for one another this week? But I know, like, I saw Jaris put thinkers at work. Like, I want to give everybody 2 minutes to talk about something they're doing now, right? Something they're excited about. And then at the end, we can come back to, like, what would we like the community to amplify for us this week? But Jaris, tell us about Thinkers at Work, for those who don't know.
Thinkers at Work, for those who don't know, that's the best hashtag on LinkedIn. It is the best hashtag on the internet. Let's just say that. And the reason why I like Thinkers at Work, because it is exactly what it says. We think, and we put action behind it, and you repeat. And that's all it's about. Because on this journey that I'm on, understanding self-love, who I am, I used to be somebody who just used to think, overly thinking, and I never put enough action behind it. Now I'm learning thoughts and ideas are free. One thought at a time, which is controlling your mind to the best that you can. And once you start learning how to do that, then you put action behind one thought, you execute it, then you can manifest whatever you want. And that's Thinkers at Work, guys.
Bravo. Oh, beautiful. All right, I'm going to just move us around a little bit. So if anyone watching is getting bored, you got to now figure out where we are. It's great. A little bit of, like, Hollywood Squares here. We're going to move around. In the order you are to me, Kelly, is there anything right now that you're super excited about or want to share? Or?
No, I was thinking I wasn't listening, Jaris. I was thinking the whole time about what I was going to say. I have no idea.
Okay.
Thinkers at Work.
There you go. We're now
I'm going to amplify Jaris.
And James, how about you?
I think we touched on it a little bit before the show, but the Reset Mindset series, which is really an opportunity to elevate others. It's not, it's something that's a totally different direction, than allows me to kind of go out there and support. I mean, it may sound strange, but anything from a competitor to, we've had people in the mental wellness arena, anything that helps bring knowledge out into the community is super exciting to me, because I think all too often we don't get a chance for people to give them a platform to come on and talk about their business and talk about them. And so that's what the Reset Mindset series is. I love to promote others' businesses, but we really want to promote the individual. And so we're super excited about that. We do that with DJ on Fridays, and I'm most pumped up about that. There's a few things going on, but and I think the only thing in addition to that is things like the community aspect of all this. The opportunity to build has been incredible on LinkedIn. I'm fairly new to the platform, and the community side is more than I could ever put into words. It really is. You have to experience it. You have to put yourself out there. And I think that that's the most incredible part. I'm very excited about that. So really it's community. So, yeah.
I love it. Felicia, you have something you want to share?
Aloha. So I am just really enjoying working with a lot of female clients lately. As my tag says, laying your cards on the table so you can transform the smart way. And so, we have this conversation in a group in public, but there are so many things that, they're wanting to share and learn about privately. So I'm enjoying helping women ascend on their journey of life and living the smart way.
Yeah. Wow. Just think about what we're all doing. And we are, I haven't shared, and Kelly is still figuring out what she's focusing on, unless she's just going to go with Team Jaris this week. There's 4 different people with 4 different things that we are energizing and building, but they all focus on community. They all are focusing on other people, our ability, our power to, again, it's not quite empathy, but to be with people, right? If we're with people and we are open and we share and are abundant and we take the journey together, that we all believe that we are having an impact, and we are, but that we are not doing it in return. Like James said, we learn from other people. We are bettering ourselves in doing it, but our ultimate goal is to better others, right? To see others shine, to see others grow, and I think that is just super, super cool. I did get James's name, his link in there, so hopefully you guys got that. Beth Donnelly. Beth, thank you for LinkedIn. Oh my gosh, it's so good, you guys, when you put your LinkedIn username for me. I love it. I know James didn't recognize him tonight. Need new glasses. Maybe. And Katie J's going to be mad at me. It has nothing to needing the glasses, but he's got a birthday coming up. And this man puts so much energy into everyone on LinkedIn, and he is a cheerleader and a supporter and shows up everywhere. So Katie J, you keep telling me to shush. No. It's not happening. You will be celebrated. So all you need to do is get ready. Let's see. I'm going to answer the question myself, and I should have thought about it. I have a lot going on. I think for the next week, what I'm focusing on is, I've mentioned it before and I'm still getting it off the ground, but this hashtag Radiating Real campaign and this challenge for people to really show up. Just show up. Take that picture first thing in the morning. Bedhead beautiful. Show who you are. Allow the world to love you that way. Allow the world to see your value that way. Allow the world to embrace you just as you are. You are enough. You are beautiful. You are perfect. And it's something I'm very passionate about, for creating space for people. It's a brave space where people feel comfortable. It's a shared space. We're all willing to do it together, feel comfortable in our vulnerability as a group, and move toward being real, being authentic, being genuine, showing up as we are, being the norm instead of the exception. I know probably everyone here gets a lot of feedback on, wow, I love how you show up so real, or I love how authentic you are. I love how, right? Well, there are a lot of people on LinkedIn, and there are still a lot of people who are not showing up real, quote unquote, for one reason or another. If it is that they are uncomfortable or they are scared, I want to take that reason away. I want that to not be a limit for anyone. Why is it you're offering a platform this promote business? There you go. Yes, I do. I encourage you guys, please. This is a community of abundance. So please share. Like James said, he's helping competitors grow. It's a community of abundance. We have plenty to give and want to. We all receive so much more than we give. We know that. Okay, so I guess I should bring us back to empathy. Let's see, Beth, I did say hi, but welcome. Thank you for being here. I know that I didn't get back to everyone in comments. I'm so sorry. I'm not sorry. Hang on. I'm not going to apologize for something that's not wrong. I'm going to thank you for being here. I'm going to thank you for knowing that my intention is that you all feel welcome and know how much we appreciate you being here. And if I didn't put it in a comment, know that's where my heart is. That's a place of growth for me too. I am my catching myself apologizing. Robert, tell us. Okay, so Robert's saying, I don't know if you noticed, but when I started my show, right when I got LinkedIn Live, 3 weeks ago, I did a week of videos and then I didn't do a video for a week. And there's a reason, but he doesn't know if any of us know. Well, if you'd like to share with us, I would love to hear that. And I am going to take this moment, actually, what I want to amplify is Robert. Robert, this community knows I've been trying to get LinkedIn Live. I've been rejected like 45 times at this point. Like I've stopped counting. Oh, CDK, I haven't seen you in so long. Love, so good to see you.
Karina.
It's been such a long time. Oh, we love you. I fixed it though, Tim. We love you.
Oh, Karina.
What a beautiful soul. Okay, you guys, this is why you connect with people in the comments. They're just, I fangirl over everybody in our community, in our LinkedIn family. So there you go. But, as I've been struggling, and LinkedIn used to say, and then they kind of took it off their application, that they want you to have at least 1,000 connections. And they had sort of put it under the table for a while because I think it was distasteful to people, but they brought it back. So I went to, after Katie J is one of them, Robert is one of them, Matt Wolf is one of them, people who, when I said, no, you know what, it's not the right time and that's okay, I'm gonna back off for applying right now, they were on me. And they were like, no, you're not. You're going to keep applying. You're going to keep doing this. And so I went back to apply and I saw that you have to have 1,000 connections before you can even apply. And so I let Robert know that. I thanked him so much for the encouragement. I did with Katie J also. And Matt said, thank you so much. I did go back because of your encouragement, but I wanted to let you know this is happening. And it was just an FYI. And what does Robert do? Because this is who Robert is. He creates a post. And he puts up there that that's what's keeping me from getting live at this point. It's one of the pieces keeping me from getting live, how much he believes in me and the value that I bring, and just asked his community to connect with me. And the amazing part about LinkedIn is they did, and that other people shared his post. So thank you, Robert. That was amazing in terms of amplification. But okay, so I'm going to get back to... let's see, did you reveal to us? Robert said, the criticism and the hate message did not come from LinkedIn. I'll just say that. Oh, I feel like, Jaris, you have some experience in people blocking you. Not like blocking, but like blocking your path. And it sounds like maybe that will be it. And by the way, Karina, I hope you are felt all the love that just happened when you showed up. Like that was like this immediate, authentic love to you. So I hope you were able to take that all in. All right. So should we get back to empathy? Does anyone have any more thoughts or anything anyone wants to share at this point? I'm going to, for the remainder, at least that's what I endeavor to do.
Well, we were kind of like doing it in action.
Yeah. That's true. We were just demonstrating, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, any last words? Anything we should amplify? Anything coming up that we want people to tune into, show up at? I know a couple of us have shows. Maybe you're guesting. Sorry, it's that evening light. Oh, I didn't apologize again. Thank you for understanding that my lighting is a little bit challenging in the evening. But please, I know if you are going to be somewhere on a show, live or a podcast, please, Islanders, let us know. We'll take a round and see where you're going to be. If you have a show, take a moment to invite people to that. If there's a place or a person or a thing we can be there for you, please let us know. So we'll go, I'm going to start opposite order for me, and I'm going to try this. This is not like a thing I'm good at, so bear with me. And I'm going to try it. Let's see. Sorry, Kelly.
It's okay.
You go.
I had to go first. But actually, I have an answer to this one. Next Tuesday, Jaris, is this correct? I'm on your show with Paterano.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
So that's my answer. The next time I'm on live, and the thing that I would love everybody to support is Jaris's show with Mike Paterano called The Tough Step. It's about men and their emotions, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, two men that can get into their emotions. So, Jaris, you are my natural next flow if I can make this work. It's supposed to just move.
I'll be very brief. Very brief. Before you ask that question, you asked me to touch on hate very briefly, right? And what I'm learning is there are different reasons why people hate. Most of the time people hate because we haven't been taught how to congratulate you, how to say, hey, I like what you got going on. How can I be a part of that? Another reason why people hate is just out of pure spite. That's just who they are. They don't know no better. So what I like to do is, like Corrine, somebody said, Corrine said in the comments, we don't worry about the hate. We keep doing what we're doing because we understand with our actions and our journeys, that's just what comes with that. So I've learned to take that hate and reverse it and say, you know what? You're hating on me for a specific reason. I don't care what the reason is. I'm doing something. I'm living my strength. In my journey, however you want to say it. And I just find strength when people come with the negativity, because we got to understand the life that we are living is balanced. You got good, evil, bad, negative, positive, however you want to say it. To me, I just perceive it, try to understand where it's coming from, but just keep moving forward, because you'll never know why a person is treating you the way that you're treating you. And remember to practice self-love. That's the main thing that I'm doing now, showing myself all kind of love that I've never done before. And I know it may sound weird coming from somebody that looks like me or coming from a male, but self-love is the key to success, living, happiness, or whatever you're looking for in life. The key is self-love.
Beautiful. Before I move you off the hot seat, though, can you just quickly day, time, and where to catch your show?
Where to catch me?
Your show, where you and Kelly are on Tuesday. Where do we find you? What time?
Tuesday night on LinkedIn Live. Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I just encourage everybody, you follow the hashtag Thinkers at Work. It's going to let you know everything that I have going on. I put all of my content information within inside of that hashtag for anybody that's wondering.
Beautiful. All right. Well, guess what? Next. Surprise!
So I literally, before we came on the show today, I had did a reflective meditation activity with my cards, because I had a whole situation before I came on the line. And the very first one I pulled was hate, right? Then transitioning, what do I need to do that? Girl, keep your crown, keep your eyes, meditate, focus on what you need to do. And now go get on this camera, charm, smile, and keep it moving. So yeah, love how that always aligns like that.
I love your cards. I love your cards.
Well, thank you. Yes, it's the Modern Woman's deck. I created these with the image of using real women in real situations. I love that.
Can we buy those? Where do we find them?
Yeah, where do we find them?
Yes, you can find the Live Smart, a Modern Woman's deck. I'll drop that in the chat box for
so cool.
Also on my website, sevenfoldcoaching.com. So, well, thank you, because look, that's what I was going to talk about. I was like, I'm not coming up with any interviews recently, but there it is.
There you go.
That you can purchase my Oracle deck on sevenfoldcoaching.com.
There you go. Please add it. I'm going to actually switch me in next, and James being our guest, and you can lead us out. What do I have going on? Everything and nothing. So the next thing coming up would be Sunday night, Connected Human Conversations, my baby of a show that is starting to get some traction. Thank you to everyone who shows up week after week. And that is 5:00 p.m. Pacific Standard Times, Connected Human Conversation. You can find it on Mike Paterano's LinkedIn, my Facebook, if I don't screw up the event, and my YouTube channel. And as always, I so appreciate the choosing to spend time with me and sharing yourselves with me, because that's what you guys do in the comments. So thank you so much. And keep an eye out for that Radiating Real hashtag. I know that I'm still I'm not waiting for things to be perfect because I know better, but I am making sure that I give this the best opportunity to be successful, because I know it will help so many people out there. And I just know it's I think sometimes we forget, and we talk about men's feelings. They experience all the same feelings we do. It's sometimes hard for them to show up real as well. There are some places that are hard for them as well. So that's where I'm at right now. All right, James.
Okay. Yeah. So every Friday at 2:30 Pacific time, with DJ and with Darren D. Sprinkle and myself. This week we have Russ Johns on the show, and so we're super excited about that. And I just to echo what Nancy's saying, and just the support we get from that, we're super excited to bring that community. I can't tell you how much it means to us that DJ agreed not to only produce the show, but then to come on the show and co-host. It means everything to us. It really helps us promote that community feeling and elevating others. And, again, just what an amazing feeling that LinkedIn provides, that power through LinkedIn provides that. And it's incredible. So thank you so much to everybody here tonight as well. Thank you.
So what I'm going to ask all of us to do is drop comments and, drop a comment, because there are people on replay that'll watch this, or people who may want to come back to it. And we'll find these little nuggets that we're dropping, these little places of amplification and abundance. I want to thank you all. All right. Some people aren't ready for the lights. Yeah, well, he's going to get used to the light because it's coming at him strong for that birthday. Okay, so I wanted to thank everybody on the island, and those of you who have joined us through comments on the island. I cannot say enough week after week how much we appreciate you, how much your being here means to us, because without you, there'd be no reason for us to show up. You are our family. You are the people we nourish our souls with every Thursday night, and know each other better, and just so appreciate that you choose to spend your time with us and share yourselves with us. So thank you to all. And we're gonna say goodnight, and we're gonna hold that weird pose while it actually ends. So ready? Here we go.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.